Nobody saw this coming, and now the internet can't stop talking about it. Late last night, reports started flooding social media claiming that Finesse2tymes was involved in a shocking incident in Michigan. At first, it was just whispers, random tweets, blurry clips, and people asking questions. But within minutes, those whispers turned into chaos. Fans were refreshing their timelines nonstop. Clips started surfacing. Some people claimed they heard yelling, others said things got physical. And just like that, a full-blown storm hit the hip-hop world. But here's where things get complicated. Nothing is confirmed. Some fans believe Finesse2tymes was attacked out of nowhere. Others think there's more to the story, something deeper, something personal. Social media is going crazy trying to piece it all together, but every new detail seems to raise more questions instead of answers. One user posted, "This don't look random, something led up to this." Another said, "Nah, this was planned. You can tell." And just like that, the narrative started splitting in two. Was this a random act of violence? Or was this something that had been building behind the scenes? As emotions ran high and speculation spread like wildfire, one thing became clear. This situation is way bigger than anyone expected. And if even half of what people are saying is true, this could change everything for Finesse2tymes moving forward. The situation surrounding Finesse2tymes has quickly turned into one of the most talked about moments in hip-hop this week, and fans are still trying to piece together what really went down. It all started with whispers, online short clips, blurry footage, and frantic posts that began circulating late at night, all pointing to some kind of altercation in Michigan. At first, it didn't seem like anything major. Social media sees rumors every day, but this felt different. The tone was urgent, the reactions were intense, and before long, people started asking the same question. Did something serious just happen to Finesse2tymes? As more posts began to surface, the story started gaining traction. Some people claimed the rapper had been brutally attacked, while others pushed back, saying the situation was being exaggerated. Nothing was confirmed, but that didn't stop the internet from doing what it does best: speculating, analyzing, and debating every possible angle. Fans were shocked, emotions ran high, and suddenly, a regular night in Michigan became the center of a growing storm. According to early chatter, the alleged incident took place after what seemed like a routine appearance. Finesse2tymes, known for his confident presence and unapologetic energy, had reportedly been moving through the city when things took a turn. Some people believe there may have been tension building behind the scenes, possibly involving local disputes or personal issues. Others think it could have been a random situation that escalated quickly. Again, nothing is confirmed, but the uncertainty is exactly what's fueling the conversation. What really added to the mystery were the reactions from those claiming to have been nearby. A few individuals on social media described chaotic scenes, raised voices, sudden movement, and a moment where everything seemed to spiral out of control. One user wrote, "It happened so fast, nobody even knew what was going on." Another said, "You could tell something wasn't right before it even started." These accounts haven't been verified, but they've only intensified the speculation. Meanwhile, fans of Finesse2tymes are trying to make sense of it all. Some are expressing concern, hoping he's safe and unharmed. Others are questioning whether the situation is being blown out of proportion. "We've seen this before," one commenter posted. People hear one thing and turn it into something bigger. But even those who are skeptical admit that the silence from official sources is making things more suspicious. The lack of clear information has created a vacuum, and social media is filling it fast. Videos are being slowed down, screenshots are being analyzed, and timelines are being constructed by fans who are determined to uncover the truth. It's almost like a digital investigation is unfolding in real time, with thousands of people contributing their own theories. Some believe this could be connected to past tensions. Others think it might have been a targeted situation. And then there are those who say it could all be a misunderstanding that got out of hand. What makes this even more intense is Finesse2tymes' current position in the rap game. He's been building momentum, gaining attention, and making noise with his music and personality. That kind of visibility can sometimes bring unwanted attention, and fans are starting to wonder if that played a role. When you're moving like that, people are watching, one fan commented. Not everybody is a supporter. At the same time, there's a noticeable absence of any direct statement from Finesse2tymes himself. No posts, no clarifications, no immediate response. And in today's world, where artists often address situations instantly, that silence is speaking volumes. Some people think he might be laying low, handling things privately. Others believe there could be more to the story that hasn't come out yet. For now, everything remains unclear. The only thing that's certain is that something happened, or at least something people believe happened, and it's got the entire hip hop community paying attention. Fans are watching closely, waiting for updates, and trying to separate fact from fiction. But until more information surfaces, the story of what really went down in Michigan remains a mystery, wrapped in speculation, emotion, and a whole lot of unanswered questions. As the hours passed, the conversation around Finesse2tymes only grew louder, and what started as scattered posts quickly turned into full-blown social media chaos. Fans weren't just reacting anymore, they were digging, comparing clips, and trying to connect dots that may or may not have been there. Different angles of the same alleged moment began circulating, each one telling a slightly different story. Some people were convinced the situation was as serious as it sounded, while others argued that the footage was too unclear to jump to conclusions. Still, one thing was undeniable. Social media was going crazy, and people were completely divided. New voices began to enter the conversation, including bloggers, reaction channels, and even a few individuals claiming to have inside information. One person posted, "This wasn't random at all. There's more behind this." Another claimed, "People knew something was going to happen before it did." None of these statements were verified, but they added fuel to an already intense situation. Fans are shocked at how quickly the narrative shifted from confusion to something that felt much deeper, almost like there were layers waiting to be uncovered. At the same time, a short clip began making rounds that many believed showed the aftermath of the alleged incident. The video was shaky, the audio unclear, but you could hear voices raised and see people moving quickly in the background. Some viewers pointed out what they thought looked like security stepping in, while others argued it was just a normal crowd reaction blown out of proportion. "Pause it right there," one user commented. "You can see something went down." Another responded, "That doesn't prove anything." And just like that, the internet turned into a courtroom, with everyone presenting their own version of the truth. As emotions ran high, fans also began revisiting past moments involving Finesse2tymes, searching for anything that could explain what might have led to this situation. Some people brought up previous interviews, suggesting that certain comments might have created tension. Others mentioned the pressures that come with rising fame, saying that being in the spotlight can sometimes attract the wrong kind of attention. "When you're leveling up, not everybody is happy for you," one fan wrote. Again, nothing is confirmed, but the theories kept stacking up. What really changed the tone of the conversation was when a few alleged witnesses started going live, sharing their own versions of what they claimed happened. One person said, "It got heated out of nowhere," while another claimed, "You could feel the energy shift before anything even happened." These live sessions drew thousands of viewers, with comments flying in faster than anyone could keep up. Some viewers believed every word, while others questioned the credibility of these accounts. "Everybody wants attention," one commenter said. "We don't know what's real." That skepticism only added another layer of tension to an already complicated situation. Meanwhile, the silence from official sources continued, and that absence of clarity was making things even more intense. No confirmed statements, no clear footage, no direct explanation, just a flood of opinions, reactions, and speculation. People are divided between those who think this is being exaggerated for attention and those who believe something serious actually happened. "Why hasn't anyone said anything yet?" one fan asked. That's what makes it feel real. Even other artists and influencers began subtly reacting, not directly addressing the situation but posting cryptic messages that fans immediately tried to connect. A tweet here, an Instagram story there, nothing concrete, but enough to keep the conversation alive. Some people think these posts were just coincidences, while others believe they were indirect responses to what happened. They know something, one user claimed. They just can't say it. Once again, nothing is confirmed, but the speculation was reaching new levels. At this point, the situation had fully escalated beyond just a rumor. It had become a trending topic, a digital storm where every second brought a new theory, a new reaction, or a new piece of alleged evidence. Fans were refreshing their feeds constantly, hoping for clarity but finding only more confusion. Emotions were still running high, and the line between fact and fiction was becoming harder to see. And right in the middle of it all was Finesse2tymes, still silent, still not addressing the situation publicly. That silence was now one of the biggest talking points. Some people believe he's choosing not to feed into the chaos, while others think there's a reason he hasn't spoken yet. Either way, the longer it continues, the more intense the speculation becomes. Because in a moment like this, when everyone is watching and waiting, silence doesn't calm things down, it makes everything louder. By this point, the situation involving Finesse2tymes had reached a level where it felt impossible to ignore. What started as scattered rumors had now turned into a full-blown online storm, with opinions flying in from every direction. Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and the tone of the conversation shifted from curiosity to concern mixed with tension. People weren't just asking what happened anymore, they were starting to take sides, and that's when things really began to spiral. Supporters of Finesse2tymes were quick to defend him, arguing that he may have been put in a difficult situation without warning. "Y'all don't know what he walked into," one fan wrote. Others echoed that sentiment, suggesting that artists often deal with unpredictable environments, especially when moving through unfamiliar cities. Some people believe this could have been a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, while others think there may have been underlying issues that haven't been revealed yet. Nothing is confirmed, but the intensity of these defenses showed just how loyal his fan base is. On the other side, critics began raising questions that added even more pressure to the situation. Some people think there could be details missing from the story, especially moments that may have happened before the clips started circulating. "We're only seeing pieces," one user commented. "There's always more that leads up to something like this." That idea started gaining traction, with more and more people suggesting that what went viral might not represent the full picture. And when that thought enters the conversation, it changes everything. Social media is going crazy trying to fill in those gaps. Users began creating timelines, piecing together posts, timestamps, and alleged witness accounts to build their own versions of events. Some timelines suggested there may have been tension building earlier in the day. Others argued that everything escalated suddenly without warning. Each version sounded convincing in its own way, which only made the situation more confusing. People are divided, and every new theory seemed to pull the conversation in a different direction. Meanwhile, discussions about safety in the music industry started resurfacing. Fans pointed out how often situations like this happen, especially during public appearances where large crowds and unpredictable energy come into play. "Artists need better protection," one commenter wrote. "This keeps happening over and over." That perspective shifted the focus slightly, turning the conversation from just one incident into a broader discussion about the risks that come with fame. Some people believe that rising visibility can bring both opportunity and danger, and this situation, whatever it truly is, has become part of that larger narrative. At the same time, there were those urging caution, reminding everyone that speculation can quickly turn into misinformation. "We don't even know the facts yet," one user posted. "Y'all are building whole stories off clips." That voice of reason was present, but it struggled to keep up with the speed of the internet. Once a story starts gaining momentum, it becomes difficult to slow it down. And in this case, the momentum was undeniable. Another layer of tension came from the ongoing silence. Finesse2tymes still hadn't made a public statement, and that absence continued to fuel discussion. Some fans believe he's choosing to stay quiet to avoid escalating the situation. Others think there might be legal or personal reasons behind the silence. If it was nothing, he would have said something by now, one comment read, but another quickly responded, or maybe he's handling it the right way offline. That back and forth perfectly captured how divided people have become. As more time passed, even the smallest details started to feel significant. A delayed post, a missing update, a subtle reaction, everything was being analyzed. Some fans pointed out that people close to him hadn't spoken either, which added another layer of mystery. Nobody around him is saying anything, one user noted. That's not normal. Whether that observation means anything or not is unclear, but it added to the growing sense that something bigger might be going on behind the scenes. At this stage, the situation feels less like a single incident and more like an unfolding story with multiple layers. There's the initial moment that sparked everything, the reactions that followed, and now the deeper speculation that continues to grow. Every hour that passes without clear answers seems to make the story more intense. People are still watching, still debating, and still trying to figure out what's real and what isn't. And that's where things stand right now, right in the middle of uncertainty. No confirmed explanation, no complete timeline, just a mix of reactions, theories, and unanswered questions. But one thing is certain, the conversation isn't slowing down anytime soon. As the situation continued to unfold, a new wave of speculation pushed everything to an even higher level of intensity. The conversation around Finesse2tymes was no longer just about what people thought they saw, it became about what might be missing entirely. Fans began questioning whether the viral clips that sparked the entire discussion were only showing a small fraction of what actually happened. Some people believe the most important moments occurred before any cameras were rolling, while others think key details may have been left out or simply haven't surfaced yet. Nothing is confirmed, but that idea alone shifted how many people viewed the situation. One of the biggest talking points now is timing. Social media users started analyzing when certain clips were posted, when reactions began, and how quickly the story spread. A few people pointed out that the first posts appeared almost simultaneously, leading to theories that multiple individuals witnessed the same moment from different angles. Others think the quick spread suggests something more organized, though there's no evidence to support that claim. Still, these theories gained traction, and once again, people are divided between those who see patterns and those who see coincidence. At the same time, the emotional tone of the conversation began to change. Early reactions were filled with shock and confusion, but now there's a growing sense of frustration. Fans want answers. They want clarity. And most of all, they want to understand what really happened. "We've been watching this all day and still don't know anything," one user commented. That feeling has become widespread, with many people expressing how exhausting it is to sort through so much conflicting information. Another layer was added when some fans began discussing how situations like this can impact an artist's image, regardless of what actually happened. In today's digital world, perception can spread faster than facts, and once a narrative takes hold, it can be difficult to change. Some people believe that even if the truth eventually comes out, the initial reactions may already shape how this moment is remembered. Others argue that fans are smart enough to wait for real information before forming lasting opinions. But as the debate continues, it's clear that this situation has already left an impression. Meanwhile, a few voices online started calling for patience, reminding everyone that jumping to conclusions can do more harm than good. "Let the facts come out," one post read. "We don't need to turn this into something it's not." That perspective has been echoed by others who feel the conversation has gone too far into speculation. But in a moment this viral, slowing things down is easier said than done. Social media thrives on immediacy, and when something dramatic happens, people react first and reflect later. As the hours stretch on, the silence from Finesse2tymes continues to stand out. No direct message, no public explanation, and no clear indication of what actually took place. Some people believe he may be handling things privately, possibly addressing the situation behind the scenes rather than online. Others think the lack of communication suggests there may be complications that aren't visible to the public. Again, nothing is confirmed, but the absence of a statement has become one of the most discussed aspects of the entire situation. There's also growing curiosity about whether more footage or information will surface. In situations like this, it's not uncommon for new clips or witness accounts to appear later, sometimes changing the entire narrative. Fans are watching closely, refreshing their feeds, and waiting for that one piece of information that could bring clarity. "There's gotta be more to this," one user wrote. "This can't be the whole story." That belief has kept the conversation alive, even as frustration continues to build. At this point, the situation feels like it's at a standstill, but not in a calm way. It's the kind of pause that comes with tension, where everyone is waiting for something to break. Whether that's a statement, new footage, or verified details, nobody knows. But the anticipation is there, and it's keeping people locked in. What makes this moment so powerful is the uncertainty. There are no clear answers, no confirmed timeline, and no single version of events that everyone agrees on. Instead, there's a mix of reactions, theories, and emotions all colliding at once. Fans are still shocked, people are still divided, and social media is still going crazy trying to make sense of it all. And until something concrete emerges, that uncertainty will remain. The story isn't over, it's just waiting for its next chapter. So where does that leave us with Finesse2tymes? Right now, there are more questions than answers. Fans are shocked, people are divided, and social media is still going crazy trying to figure out what really happened in Michigan. We've seen clips, we've heard reactions, and we've watched the internet build multiple versions of the same story, but at the end of the day, nothing is confirmed. Was this a random situation that got out of control? Was there something deeper going on behind the scenes? Or are fans reading too much into something we don't fully understand yet? That's what makes this moment so intense. Everybody is watching, but nobody has the full picture. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think really happened? Do you believe the rumors? Or do you think there's a completely different story that hasn't come out yet? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this is one of those situations where every opinion adds to the conversation. And if you've been keeping up with the story so far, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps push the video out so more people can join the discussion. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates, because if anything new drops, any footage, any statements, any confirmed details you already know, we're breaking it down right here. Stay locked in, because this story might not be over yet.